And this course has so many names. I've come up with a lot of names for this course. So it's called Principles of Technical Support. It's called Exploring the Internet Connectors. It's called ISP Nuts and Bolts. Take a pick. Any name is valid. All right. So this course offers a comprehensive introduction to the essential components of how an ISP operates. Okay, we learn about what is an ISP. We have actually a lot of topics that we are going to cover in this course. But the basic idea of this course is that you need to understand what are some of the job roles within the service environment. So you, at this point in time, you are learning to be a technical support level 1 technician or engineer, but you're going to learn about different roles within that space. There are field technicians, there are field engineers, there are network architects, there are cybersecurity engineers, hosting engineers, there's system engineers. There's a lot of technical roles within this field. So we'll give you that understanding, and we're going to teach you how to build an ISP. Not that you need to build that, but we're going to explain that. If I were to build an ISP right now, what would I need? Okay, I'm going to need an IP transit connection. I'm going to need what we call IP resources. So I need public IP addresses that I am going to issue to my customers. I'm going to need a radius server, which is going to authenticate my customers to make sure that they connect properly to my network, and I can be able to build them and suspend them and change their packages. For example, if you go and buy, let's say, data from Vodacom, let's say choose a different ISP this time. I always use MTN. I want anybody to think that I have an affiliate with MTN. So let's say you buy data from Vodacom, okay? You buy 1 gig of data. There is a system that makes sure that after 1 gig, it cuts you off, okay? So that is what we call a radius server or a billing system or a AAA server. We're going to talk about all those components that make up all these things. So it's going to be an exciting course. So let's look at some of the topics that we cover in that before I get too excited. So there are 5 sections. So the first section, I talk about introduction to internet service providers. I talk about what are the different types of ISPs that are out there. We have fiber network operators. We have wireless internet service providers. So we run a wireless internet service provider, meaning that we provide internet access over wireless. I'm going to show you some of the equipment that we use. I'm going to show you some recorded videos of us setting up a wireless base station so they can actually see what it looks like. I'm gonna give you some examples of wireless internet service providers that are very popular. Some of the biggest wireless internet service providers in South Africa, even overseas. I'll show you some examples. I'm going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of each service provider. We're going to talk about that. Then ISP building blocks. This one is very exciting. Okay, so this one I'm going to simulate an environment where not really simulate, I'm going to pitch it to you guys as if I'm pitching an idea to an investor. So you're gonna be like an investor, and I am somebody that's pitching an idea. So let's say you are an investor, and I come to you and say, I want you to invest into my ISP business. So you're gonna say, okay, what is an ISP and how is it built? So I'm gonna explain to you that this is what we need. In order for us to have an ISP, we need to have point of presence. We need to have an area that we operate. So in that point of presence, that's where we put our equipment, and we need to have a last mile connection. I'm going to talk about different types of last mile connectivity or media. We have fiber, we have wireless. What are the advantages of those? We can go through a fiber network operator, which is a third party provider that provides the infrastructure. I'm going to talk about all the different concepts and different things until you understand how or what makes up a complete internet service provider. So this is going to be an exciting course or an exciting module. Then you're going to talk about the services in module 3. what are some of the services that are provided by a service provider. We're going to talk about selling internet services or internet access. We're going to talk about VoIP services, hosting services. There's so many services that service provider provides these days, and we're going to talk about those things. Then network operation and management. So service providers need to, and this is where you guys come in actually. So there are people that need to run and ensure these systems are working. Let's talk about those things. What do they use? What kind of system do they use? What kind of protocol do they use? So this is why it's very important that we start with the CCST, then the MTCNA, then lastly this particular training. Then you can have an idea of those things that we've been talking about in those trainings. You'll be able to figure out, okay, this is what we were talking about when we're teaching about SNMP. All right, I get it. So these are some of these things that we're going to be talking about, ticketing system and things like that. Then we're going to talk about service provider jobs and roles and things like that. So this will help you to map your career path. So from here, as a technical support level 1, what does your career path look like? From technical support level 1 to technical support level 2 to the NOC to be, and you can end up being a network architect and things like that. All right. Then you're gonna finish up with an exam that you guys gonna write. There's gonna be a theoretical exam. You're gonna get a certificate of completion. To be honest, you can't really do anything on this certificate. I have to say that, but it'll help you in the interview, and that acquired knowledge will set you apart because you actually understand your job role more than anybody else going for the same job, or they say they've come from a university or from from another trading institution. So okay, so I think that's the end of this video. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.